Welcome to the Minecraft of the New Age Analysts. Okay, so this is our world. So we're gonna proceed here. So our first room that we'll use is called Philosophies to the Research Methodology, and we'll choose a few boards to explain. So the first layer of the research onion establishes the foundation of research by defining ontology, which is the nature of reality, and epistemology, which is the nature, sources of knowledge of facts. Asiology, which is the values, beliefs, and ethics of research. We then proceed to the second board, which is philosophy refers to the set of principles governing the worldview or stance on which the research is based. Ontology and epistemology are commonly used to study it. In this context, ontology refers to the authenticity of the information and how one understands its existence, and epistemology refers to the valid information needed for the research. Okay, and how to obtain it. So we then proceed to, our third board here, which states that philosophical positions used in academic studies are frequently divided into positivism and interpretism. So we then see that with positivism, assuming that knowledge is independent of the subject under the study, and with interpretism claiming that the individual observers have their own perception and understanding of reality. So we are then going to proceed to the next room. Let's see what the next room is about, as it seems interesting and exciting. Okay, so in the next room, we have approaches to theory development. So we're gonna choose a random board that explains this room, which is approaches to theory development. Okay, so there are three approaches to theory development. We have deductive, inductive, and abductive. So here we explain deductive. The logic refers to reasoning that progresses from a general rule to a specific law like interference. So we then have inductive reasoning, which is a method of developing theories that begin with a specific observation and progress to the formulation of a general rule. But according to Koza, in future studies, inductive reasoning is mostly associated with intuitive techniques, which is very interesting and exciting. We then move to abductive reasoning, which is a form of interference that begins with the observation of signs that provide. Okay. So these are approaches to theory development. We then proceed to another room. As you can see, the world is beautiful and exciting. This room is basically about methodology choice, and it's divided into three subsections. Okay, so this layer helps you to know whether it is fine to combine both quantitative and qualitative methodology, or just to use one of the methodology, which is very important when we conduct research. And then we have a board here that states that there are three choices in the research onion that include the mono method, the mixed method, and the multi method. So we're gonna go to one of the rooms inside this room, which is called the mono method, which states that when using this method, you are required to gather one type of information that is using either quantitative or qualitative method, but you cannot combine the two. We then proceed to another room which talks about mixed methods. What is this about? Mixed method permits one to combine quantitative and qualitative in research to create a precise set of data. We then proceed into a room called the multi-method. The multi-method, basically, it's similar to the mixed method because you do combine the quant and the qual. Although they are similar, but they still have their differences. While a mixed method combines methodology to establish a particular set of data, a multi-method does not, which is very important. Okay, so we're then going to proceed to another room. What is this room about? So this is time horizon. This room is basically explaining time horizon. The time horizon refers to the time frame which the project is intended for completion. According to the Research Onion, there are two types of time horizon, the cross-sectional and the longitudinal. We then proceed to another board that will explain the cross-sectional. The cross-sectional basically is when there is a preset time established for the collection of data. And the longitudinal of research is basically a time horizon which refers to the collection of data repeatedly over an extended period. For example, a person reaches a different age, which seems interesting. We then proceed to another room, which is techniques and procedures. Okay, so in this room, basically, let's see what this board says. The techniques and procedures are used that are used in research are used to collect and analyze data. So what is this? What does this mean? The data collection methods basically includes observation, questionnaires, interviews, sampling, and focus groups. And here we are basically explaining the data collection methods like surveys, interviews, and questionnaires. We then proceed to the next room. Okay. So what is the next room about? There we go. So behind this wall, you will learn about the different types of strategies. So there are 7 different types of strategies. We have our experimental, our survey, our case studies, our action research, our grounded theory, our ethnography, and archival research. Okay. So in this room here, we're going to explain those strategies. We basically explain those strategies. For example, we have a case study. It explains the case study here. We have our action research, which is one of the strategies. You know, we have all the strategies that are basically explained. Let's see here. Upstairs, you can see it's beautiful. We have our survey. Let's go forward. We have experimental, which refers to the strategy of creating a research process that examines the research of an experiment against the expected results. Okay, so in this section, we basically explained the strategies. Let's go to this room over here. So here we have our grounded theory. Our grounded theory, a qualitative methodology that draws on the inductive approach, whereby the patterns are derived from the data as a precondition of the study. Okay, so this is what our Minecraft is about. As you can see, it's beautiful. As you can see, it explains research, how to conduct your research. It explains the approaches, the strategies. It explains the time horizon. And this is how it looks. Okay, so we are basically done. This is some of the parts of our Minecraft world. Thank you.